And you guys are welcome to play along and see how many you can get. All right, ready? Here we go.
Alpha 2, 3, Charlie, Hotel, Mike. Message follows. Alpha 2, 3, Charlie, Hotel, Mike. 2, 5, 1, later, 4.
All right, did everyone get that? Yeah? Maybe a little bit, right? It's okay if you didn't. I don't know the whole sequence either, so no worries. But again, our commander and our deputy would have highly trained at this. They would have practiced constantly, and they would have got it down. To make sure they got it down correctly, though, a message will play again. They go ahead and switch binders. So go ahead and switch binders. Now we're not going to play it again. We're just assuming they play it again. Verify it's all down correctly. So commander, did our deputy get it down correctly?
Yes.
Deputy, did our commander get it correctly?
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. All right, now that our crew down here know that they got it down correctly, do they themselves know that this came from the president? No. No? Perfect. So how do they verify if it did? Any guesses?
It should have a code.
Yeah, should have a code. Perfect. Now I'd like to say a few other things just because I think they're funny or kind of have to explain some of them. So people have said you can call the president. Now thinking about this, at the time, all 54 silos would have to call, as well as all the submarines and all the bomber bases. This would take far too long for us to verify. Now, a few of the ones we've had a few younger people say that we can text the president. Not around the time, not how that works. Also, we can Google the verification codes. Again, not how that works and not around the time. So, we have to verify here in person. So we have a red safe right over here. You can see like, bam. And we have 2 padlocks on there. Actually, I'll tell you what the safe is called first. Known as the EVO safe. Known as the emergency war order safe. Now there's 2 padlocks on there. Each padlock belongs to each officer. They only need the code to their own padlock. At the end of their alert, they'll bring it home with them, and the incoming officers will replace their padlocks with theirs. However, we need to get in there, so now that we've gained access into the EVO safe, we have to pull out 2 things. First thing they pull out are our launch keys. So we have one for the commander right here, and one for the deputy over here in the corner. Now once we've done that, we have to pull out one other thing. It's known as that cookie card. I'll explain why in a minute. Now there would have been several of these inside that EVO safe. At the beginning of our message, there was a 2-digit code. They'd have to verify with this here, make sure they got it down correctly, and pull out the correct one. Now this one does not match our message here. We're just going to assume it's correct. We'll say it's BD. Crack it open like a fortune cookie, which is why it's called that. And pull out this paper here. Now this has 3 things that we need on here. The first one is our authentication code, saying it is a legit order from the president and that we are ready to launch. Now our next piece of information on there, we need to know when to launch the missile. So that gets our time of launch. Does anybody want to guess the difference between this clock here and the difference between this clock here?
One's Zulu and one's local.
Perfect, exactly. So this one runs on local time here in Tucson, it's Mountain Time. This one runs on what's called Greenwich Mean Time, aka Zulu time for the military. So what that means for our crew down here, it doesn't matter what time it is here in Tucson, it doesn't matter what time it is in LA, New York, Moscow, or Shanghai. If this is set at 10 a.m., 10 a.m. across the entire world. If it's 5 p.m., 5 p.m. across the entire world. Again, it makes it easier for them to know the time of launch, so they don't have to calculate for time zones. Now also, we have the last piece of information on here is a 6-digit code. What that is for, their butterfly valve unlock code. So what's the butterfly valve? That's this thing here. Now there's 4 of these on the missile themselves. What do? They separate our oxidizer and our fuel from mixing. Why is that important? As soon as they touch, they ignite and we have ignition, which is not what we want when we store these on the missile. So it's allowed us to store the oxidizer and the fuel on the missile for long periods of time, and that gives us the capability of being ready at all times. However, now we want to launch our missile, we have to unlock these valves. 6-digit code is given from the commander to the BMAC, the guy controlling the missile system. Puts it here, verifies it's correct. Once he does that, flips the switch up and hits this button here. Once that happens, this valve is now unlocked, but it's not open. As soon as we turn those keys, we go through the launch sequence, these valves will open, we'll have ignition, and we'll have liftoff. If those codes are not correct, we can turn the keys all we want, that launch sequence will never start, will never have ignition, and will never have liftoff. Alright, so now that we have those 3 pieces of information, we need one more thing. What do we need?
Location.
Location, perfect. Alright,
Good job.
so go ahead and take your binders real quick. you. Thank you. All right, Commander, we have 3 pre-programmed targets. Target 1, 2, and 3. Which one is lit up?
2.
Target 2. Anybody want to guess what target 2 is?
Moscow.
Moscow, love it. Perfect. Let's see. Love it. Any other guesses?
North Korea.
North Korea, perfect. Any other guesses? I've had one kid say South Korea, very enthusiastically. I don't know why, but we've had people say Cuba, parts of Mexico, parts of China. If you're from here, don't get mad. I'm not the one that said it. People have said California. One guy specifically said the Dodger Stadium. Don't know why, but and we've had people say New York and the Pentagon as well. Why would we bomb ourselves? I don't know, but I guess we could. But as far as we know, target 1, 2, and 3 are classified to this day. We actually don't know where the targets are, as well as the crew themselves would not have known. That way they couldn't decide not to launch a missile. Now if our message required it, they could have switched to target 1 or 3. But as far as we know, target 2 has always been the default target for the silo, and remains so because, again, we're a museum, we're not going to change the targets. It's not our job. Now before we launch our missile today, we have to talk about a few more things. First is our launch sequence. As soon as we turn these keys, there's no oopsie, there's no going back, there is no self-destruct or abort mission. As soon as we turn these keys, the sequence is starting, there's nothing else we can do. So you guys can sit back and relax and smoke a cigarette. There's an ashtray right over here. Right in the desk.
Wow.
All original.
Wow.
So next we'll talk about the launch sequence. Now as soon as we turn that key, our launch enable light comes on. That means, again, this code is correct, and our launch sequence will start. Then we have our battery activated light. There's 2 batteries on the missile themselves that have not been charged. Now there's a bag of electrolytes that sit above those batteries. As soon as we turn those keys, those bags are pierced, the electrolytes fall into the batteries, and they're now being charged. Then we have our APS power light. What that means is that those batteries are now fully charged. The missile is running on its own power and separated from the power of the silo. Then we have our silo self-light. There'll be an alarm going off, signifying that our silo roof up top is now opening. Then our next one is our guidance go light. What that means, the missile knows where it is, where it's going, and how to get to its target. Basically for us, target 2. What that means, it's basically just an early version of the GPS. Now we have our fire engine light. What that means, towards the end of our launch sequence, these valves, all 4 of them, have now opened. Our oxidizer and our fuel have mixed as a fire in the silo. There'll be an alarm that goes off, a little bit louder than the first, called a klaxon alarm, signifying again there's a fire in the silo. The only time it's a good sign for our crew. Then it leads us to our last light, our liftoff light. Pretty simple. The missile has now left the silo and going towards its target. Again, target 2 for us. Alright, so one more thing before we launch. Again, we have our commander key here and our deputy key right over here. Anybody notice something between the keys?
You can't do it yourself.
Perfect, exactly. So not a single person can reach each key unless they have a crazy wingspan. But again, we need 2 people to launch the missile. If there was one person doing it, if they launched, if they went rogue or crazy, they can't launch it by themselves. We have to have 2 people. Now once we do that, we have our commander and deputy. So once you guys are ready, commander, you give them the countdown, 3, 2, 1, launch. You guys will turn your keys, you'll turn yours to your right, turn yours to the right, towards you like this, and hold it for about 3 seconds. I'll let you know when to let go. Alright, ready?
This way?
This way, the other way. Yeah.
To the right.
Yeah, this way. Yeah,
Both of us to the right.
yeah, go ahead.
Now you gotta wait till she calls.
Oh, yeah,
All
make countdown.
right. 3, 2, 1, launch.
Turn, hold, launch enable light, perfect, but let go. Perfect, you guys sit back down. Battery activated light, now those batteries are being charged. Again, this takes about 28 seconds, giving you guys plenty of time to think about what you just did. Contemplate, like I said, smoke a cigarette, read a book, whatever you want to do. The end of the world is upon us. So again, 28 seconds, so once that battery activated light comes on, the APS power light, sorry, those batteries are now fully charged. So we'll wait for that. There we go. Now we're going to wait for the silo alarm to go off. So again, signifying the silo roof is now opening. Once that happens, there it is. Then we have our guidance go. The missile knows where it is, where it's going, and how to get there. Now this alarm is going to be a little bit louder, the klaxon alarm, signifying again there's a fire in the silo. Wait for that. There it is, fire in the silo. And now we have liftoff. Congratulations, Commander and Deputy, launched 9 megaton warhead to target 2 throughout the end of the world. All out of retaliation, of course. You guys can go ahead and clap.